All right, the next question, and this is more focused on people who are preppers, survivalists, the SHTF. We chose this area for some of that, the protection of where we live, and if there is an EMP that goes off, would this place be affected? So the first thing we want to talk about is we had our expert solar guy come up here, and you asked him about the EMP because we were concerned, and what did he say?
I asked him a specific question because he has all the telecommunication towers that he's put up on all the mountain ranges here, and he said the EMP would have to go off right here. And he said, why would they have it go off right here? What would they knock out?
Right.
Nothing. I mean, nothing.
What would their
affect
interest
the big picture.
be? Right.
What would their interest be? So any type of the nearest big city or whatever,
Spokane, Washington, yeah.
Well, we're protected from the mountains.
Yeah.
And so he said that it's not.
Well, and explain the mountain ranges we have that would
Right.
protect us from EMP. This region is very unique.
We're protected with the Selkirk Range, which runs all the way from Canada to the end of the end of the Panhandle. And then we have the Kanitzkego Range, which runs. It's just across the valley. It's the Kanitzkego Range, and that runs all the way down to right over there. These tall mountains right here. That's the Cabinet Range, and that juts in and pinches off. So we're in this valley is created right here, and then the valley goes on down the Panhandle, down the center. But we're sandwiched in with these three mountain ranges here, so we're well protected. I mean, we're well protected by these huge mountains. So logistically, from EMP, people coming in, like people talk about, say something happens and people are going to disperse out from the cities and go off. Right. Well, I'll tell you what, they're not coming from across these mountains. Yeah. There's only a couple ways they can come in. And that's from the valley, the highway, and say down at the beginning of the Panhandle where you got to cross the lake, Ponderay.
We've got one access point into this area. They're not coming up.
You're not getting here.
And then then the other point is over by Montana.
Well, and there's the bridge.
You can knock that out.
You're done. You're not getting across these things.
You're not getting
these
across.
Are massive ravines across that you're not getting across these things.
And then even from Canada,
same thing.
They can't stop them at the border. They can stop them right here on the
river.
On the river.
You ain't crossing that. You're done.
That's
it. So we're well protected from three strategic points in the big picture. You have to look at a map and see the big picture. Yeah. But those types of things, and so marauding people or these
gangs or whatever.
And, first off, why would they come up to the mountains to look for what?
Yeah.
They're going to stay where they know or where there's buildings, stuff that they can try to steal. And when that's gone, they're pretty much going to be gone. Yeah. Because you're not going to make it too long up in the mountains. No. The people that live here, we're accustomed to this lifestyle. Yeah. And so if you have gas, say in a bad situation, if you have gas to make it up here, things must not be too bad. That's my view on it. Yeah. You're not going to be getting here by foot unless you've done extensive training. Well,
and remember when we moved out here and we bought the land from a gentleman who was very well versed in all this, and he said, even coming up our road, we already have talked to neighbors about, remember that? He said we would stop them and we'd have a certain stop point for them to even come up this mountain.
And if you don't live up this mountain...
If you don't live...
And that's the mindset of the people out here. So we're on the same page with our neighbors. You're not getting up this road. Yeah. It's just not me defending my driveway. It's like the road that comes up into this mountain range up here. It'd be cut off, and there'd be, that's a good, and everybody's on the same page there. Yep. So things like that you've got to look at in your
quest for looking for where you're going to move.
I don't think there's anything as unique as this particular. The Panhandle's a very unique area, but there are other rural mountain areas. Yeah,
where you could do that. I mean, I could see it doing in the Appalachian Mountains. I've been up there, and I could see that. But that's something, if you really, if you're concerned about it, and there are a lot of people who are concerned about it, that's going to have to be on your list, and that was kind of a bonus for us moving up here. We really liked what we heard when people, and even meeting some of the neighbors. I remember we were camping out on the landing a couple of years ago, and the guy came up in the motorcycle with the gun, and he wanted to hunt back there, and we said that we owned the land now.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and he was very respectful. He said, you know, and then he kind of filled us in a little bit more about the people living around here, and he said, yeah, you know, the private property rights, people don't trespass, and you don't come up a driveway without first knowing your neighbors, and you know, not saying that they would shoot first, but they said don't ask the locals about some of the stories that are around here, because
the other thing that I found fascinating back in Wisconsin, unless there's you know, you have a road going into a hunting cabin or maybe a gate, and there's, you know, a gate here and there type thing. Out here, 8 out of 10 people have a gate on their driveway.
Oh yeah.
And I find that quite fascinating because, you know, we've got a couple gates in our driveway. But all my neighbors think like I do, and they've all got gates. And when that gate's closed, that means you don't want to be bothered.
Oh yeah.
So you don't go visit when the gate's closed.
Yeah. And that's a different mentality from back in Wisconsin, because we were used to people trespassing, no respect for property rights. I mean, this blatant. You'd be even hunting, and people would steal your tree stand. You know, it's just a different mentality. So if you can get into a community where yeah, but you know, these people, don't get me wrong, even though they are private individuals and they close their gates, you get in with them. Yeah,
it takes a little while. You know, once you move into a neighborhood like this, and it's just like,
it's like anything.
We're finding out that a large percentage of the people are not specifically locals, like they haven't lived here their whole life. They're from other areas.
They are.
And it takes a while for you to be so people know that you're like-minded. Right. And then, you know, you start to develop that trust and so forth. You know, you're not nosy or this or that or the other thing. You're accepted in, and you get the wave on the road there. A lot of waving. If they don't wave to you, that's probably not a good sign. Probably. That means you're probably doing something wrong. And so you drive vehicles like we drive. One fellow I stopped, it was funny because I had on our older car, the mirrors were broke off. And so
I duct taped them.
I duct taped them back into position, and the guy I was talking to, I was picking berries, and I stopped and talked to this fellow who's along the road. He's looking at my mirrors, and he's like, he goes, man, you fit in just perfect here. He goes, the duct tape on the mirrors is the clue, he says. And so,
that was, we were socially accepted then.
We knew.
Okay. Cool. All right. Well, hopefully some of those questions have been answered, and think about your security, and if things really did get bad, that region that you're gonna be moving to.